Hello, this is a video recap on Journey for 100 Plus Games 2025 season. So 2025 is behind us. Steam has released the Steam Replay, which is a recap of my gaming activity done on Steam. This year's recap will be based on this Steam Replay since I can't remember 100% what I've played last year, and I'll go through the timeline and see what games I played last year. The first game will be played somewhere in the beginning of the year, and the last game will be played towards the end of the year. So let's start. First will be Counter-Strike 2. This game was me being invited by my friend who was really into Counter-Strike. He bought the Counter-Strike package, so I play it for free, and we cannot play ranked. We can play competitive, but we cannot play ranked because I didn't buy the game. I think I play about 30 hours of Counter-Strike 2 with him. And Dave the Diver, I think I haven't completed Dave the Diver until earlier this year, so it's right here as well. And next we have Muse Dash. For Muse Dash, it was really cheap on Steam, so I bought it, and turns out they have a subscription within the game, so that's why they can charge it really cheap on Steam. And I realized that rhythm games isn't a good fit for me, so that's for Muse Dash. And next we have Flashing Lights. Flashing Lights is a game where you can be a police, a firefighter, or a paramedic. Based on these three career paths that you choose, you will experience different events. The gameplay quality is best for the policeman, then firefighter, lastly paramedic. Why I have this opinion? It's because firefighters will have fire spawns in weird places. Imagine two buildings placed right next to each other, and in the middle they have windows. And there was this one time the fire actually spawned in that inaccessible window, so there's no way of putting out the fire. And I think that is just a one-time bug. I only met that bug once. Other than that, firefighter is actually considered an easy job. And paramedics have the worst experience in my opinion, because for a paramedic you have to pick up the patient from the accident site and take him back to the hospital, which could be miles away from where you pick him up, and points will only be given when the patient is sent by yourself. The points given is actually the same as if you are a fireman or a police. So what I meant by this is the workload to point ratio is not balanced, because literally as a firefighter, if you save a person from a car crash, you just call an ambulance and the points will be given straight to you. That's considered mission complete. But for a paramedic, you have to drive from the hospital to the scene, take the patient, return back to the hospital, then only you have 10 points, which is a lot of time consumption, which is not good for just a mere 10 points. And police is alright. I think the game's main focus is placed on this role instead. What the police does is the police will just go into the house and just shoot criminals. I mean, the gunfight is alright, and if you die you will just respawn after some time, so there's not a big pressure on the policeman. But compared to the other two roles, I will think that this game really polished the policeman aspect only during that time when I played. Next will be Monster Hunter World. Sometime around 2025, I finally finished the Monster Hunter World story and finally got into Iceborne, and it took me some time to figure out that I really don't like playing this type of game, because I do not bode well with the idea of running around the map and barely survive the boss fight to only get some materials to make better gear. And another reason is I realized that most of my friends, they like this kind of game where you do things over and over again and get a little bit of material over time to get better gear. I can't bring myself to like this game. So yeah, I'm the weird one among my friends. Moving on, Stronghold Crusader, which is a real-time strategy game from my childhood. Turns out this game is more fun in the campaign modes as I get to strategize more instead of solving everything with money. When I play this game as a kid, I usually play the custom mode and give myself all the money there is in the game, and I try to solve everything using money. Don't have food, just buy food. Don't have equipment, just buy equipment. I really never strategize well on how to balance my gold, food, and production economy until I get to play the historical campaigns and skirmish campaigns, which are really chess puzzles, and they're really fun to play if you know what you're doing. Next will be the long drive, and probably played this game just to enjoy biking over 120 kilometers per hour and ending myself with a D-Eagle when things go south. Is quite repetitive, and I thought there was an ending to this, so I replayed this game last year just to find the ending and lost patience halfway. And I was also trying to get a cumulative distance of 69,420 kilometers, but I lost patience, so I didn't complete that as well. Moving on, the game called Malware. Malware is a fun indie game that reminds me of a time where I installed games and the malware came within the installation package. Basically, when you install a game 10 to 15 years ago, there will be this installation wizard. They have some sneaky checkboxes in the game, and also in real life, if you actually tick the box, you will install some free malware into your computer. So this game reminds me of that, and I think it's a really well done game. The Coffin of Andy and Lele. I replayed this game due to the fact they have a new chapter 3 release, and I want to see what's new and hot in that chapter. By the way, if you're this game's creator and you saw this video, I would like to say you have a very questionable storyline. You have a crazy mother and a crazy sister in the story, but great storytelling nonetheless. I am looking forward to what chapter 4 holds. Please release chapter 4. One day. I'll be waiting. Follow up by that, we have Supermarket Together, which is also another social game where I got roped into this management sim by my friend. Turns out, in hindsight, he was kind of free during that time, so we played every night and expanded the store bit by bit. What's cool about this game is the autosave feature. It only saves when the day ends, which is a good feature if we accidentally smash a pillar in the shop and cost our savings a lot. We could just restart the game and the damage will be undone and the money will be back in our bank account. And one thing to take note will be the AI will stock goods in a random fashion, meaning that the AI wouldn't care about this is the food section or this is the grocery section. It will just stack whenever it likes, which is permittable. So if you have OCD, please do the restocking by yourself. Next we have Class of 09 and its re-up version. Re-up, it's just like a remaster version or a spin-off. It's not a spin-off, it's more likely a extra content to the Class of 09 version. So Class of 09 is a visual novel that's set in an American high school where all roads lead to ruin. And the re-up version, like I mentioned, it's just another extra 4 hours of content set in the same timeline as the base game. Just feels like watching iCarly, Hannah Montana, but with drugs and crime at every corner of the game in a visual novel setting where you have your text boxes and your two images talking to each other. It's quite the show, I guess. Ryo is a top-down perspective shooter game of a fighter jet that's trying to shoot through various military defense machinery and aerial tomfoolery, just like your classic shoot 'em up game. And it has that retro pixel feel of playing a really old shooting game from 20 years ago. If you really like that aesthetic, this game is for you. Please go check it out. Next we have Dungeons and Keyboards. This is a type of game that lets you ascend a tower for every monster you defeat by typing. You start from the base, and every multiplier of 50 there will be a new boss waiting for you, and once you defeat the boss you can start directly from the floor above it. The story ends when you complete climbing 300 floors of the tower, and it's also a pixelated visual game. So if you like those pixel graphic games, this is also for you. And what's cool about this game is it also features a one life mode where accuracy can only be 100% and 0%. There's no typo. Once you have a typo, you're out for good, which provides a challenge for any players who dare to take up the challenge. So with a change of pace, I tried White Album Memories like Falling Snow. I think this game is a port or a remaster of the original White Album visual novel. So it goes without saying, it's a classic Japanese visual novel game. You look at the dialogue below, click on the right option, and the character image will be delighted to talk more. And it also has multiple endings, like any usual visual novel game, but I only went with the 2 endings with this game. This game's true ending is not locked on the first run, so by sheer will and determination, I managed to get the true ending on the first go, which is kinda cool, to be honest. And then it's time to jump gears to play Resident Evil 6. This Resident Evil 6 has a co-op mode, so I played with my friend to explore this game. Also, I would like to mention that I kinda like the RE5 aesthetic, so the Resident Evil that is more combat oriented, hack and slash feel like RE5 and RE6 is more up my alley, which is in turn it is less scary. More shooting is what motivates me to play more of this game. I also tried other Resident Evil titles, but so far I really like the Resident Evil 6 and it is more action packed. It leans less on the survival horror aspect. As you can tell, I'm not good with that. The Resident Evil that I've played is Resident Evil 2, 3 remakes, Resident Evil 4 remake, and 5, 6, 7 I haven't completed that, and some part of Resident Evil 8. So yes, I almost completed the modern titles of Resident Evil, but so far I really enjoy Resident Evil 6. It is really action packed and more shooting, less scary. Next we have Repo. Repo is one of those social games where you go into the map and scavenge goods while surviving the monsters. It is a game that I got dragged into as well. Over time I realized skill does matter in this type of social game, where skill and enjoyment with friends in this game is directly proportional, as if you know how to counter monsters and complete objectives, the game will not be a drag and the vibes won't turn sour just because you just keep dying, you're noobs and you keep dying. If you can avoid that, I think everyone will enjoy the game as well. Next we have Back from Another World, I Miss Love. This is a movie visual novel that features famous Japanese actresses, which I believe is the only great selling point of this visual novel, and I bought it like bait. And the plot is not too memorable, to be honest. I can't remember what happened in the story. I just remember they have pretty actresses, that's it. Moving on, we have Hitman Absolution. This is the game as my intro to the Hitman franchise, because my brother did play this game during our childhood, so I remembered this game and I decided to play it. I tried my best to sneak through the game, and it is really satisfying to conjure up sneaky tactics to complete hit missions throughout the campaign. And I think this Absolution is quite different from what I've seen from people playing World of Assassination in terms of the game's layout and mechanics wise. For Absolution, you have a storyline start to finish, you have to go through it. And as for World of Assassination, I think for every map, for every different place you go, it is kind of a separate mission of itself. It's a standalone mission of itself, so there's no strong connection from an outsider's perspective. Whereas Absolution, from start to finish, there is a chain of connection throughout them. So that's what make me think that Hitman Absolution is a good game in terms of storytelling. Changing gears from a serious game, I decided to play Toem, which is recommended by my friend as well, and I took 2 days to complete this game. It is relatively short and it has a chill atmosphere in the game. The player has to look for the right things to photograph to complete the game, which is a journey in itself. Quite fun actually. Moving on, we have A Little to the Left. A Little to the Left has a base game and a DLC, but I only played the base game. This game is more on the observation and intuition side, since it is a puzzle game. Observe the pattern and change the pattern to another pattern to complete the mission. So most of the satisfaction in this game is when the intuition hits and the puzzle unfolds as expected. The realization of my understanding is correct gave the biggest happiness hit. Let's talk about Stellar Blade. About Stellar Blade, I only played the demo and it is one of my first Souls-like game. I went into this game expecting something like Nier Automata, your usual hack and slash game, but boy, I was wrong. One wrong move literally cost my life. But I still bought the game and thought of making some content on it. And I still haven't touched the game to this day. So yeah, trust on me on that. I will definitely play this game one day. And moving on, we have another social game, which is Peak. Peak is a social game where exploration with friends equals fun. Imagine the hills, the jungle and terrain are elaborate 3D puzzles, and the key to the puzzle is your teammates. Having enough knowledge and courage is needed to rise through the peak. At the end of 2024, MiSight was released, but I only got to play it last year around June, I think. MiSight is a game that reminds me of Doki Doki Literature Club, where the girl has a conscience and is actively trying to seize control of the gaming universe. The goal of the game is to not let her do so while exploring different types of meta and see which meta tickles your sophisticated fancy. And yes, MiSight is also another psychological horror game, so if you like that kind of psychological horror with fourth wall breaking elements, definitely choose this game. I also tried Bloons Tower Defense 6, which is one of the tower defense games with heritage. Turns out getting good at tower defense really takes some skill, which includes tower placement, money allocation to towers. I have to think about all of these while playing the game, and I quickly got bored of it, so I stopped playing it. Next, I also tried Mosalina, which is an unorthodox physics puzzle game where the player gets a random choice of maps every time the game is booted up. And in every map there will be various tools that may work along or against the player's will. If I recall correctly, the tools are generated by random, so there's no guarantee that you can trial and error your way if the right tools didn't spawn in the map. This game is somewhat technical and luck based game. Around the time I have started working, and I played Toho Mistia's Izakaya every time I came back from work, which on the surface it looks like a chill restaurant management game, and based on my previous Dave the Diver experience, it shouldn't be too hard on paper, but I was actually wrong. This game is about gathering, cooking, serving and making bank, which finding ways to min-max earnings is also a challenge, since the story progresses based on me paying the debt on time. So that is also the stress part of the game. And in hindsight, I think this game is well balanced in terms of the customer difficulty and the speed of food preparation, etc. If you prefer the speed of serving and the pressure of hungry customers, I think this game is for you. Not all people can enjoy a management game, so if you like to manage, to serve people, definitely try out this game. It's really well done. And next, I would like to talk about Starlight Revolver, which is the flop of the year I've bought. I joined this beta somewhere in May, June, and when I tested the game, this game is somewhat alright. I mean, striking visuals, bubbly effects, good servers with low latency. The future of this game actually looks bright and promising. Until the game launch, its PR suffered a big hit. They did have streamers to promote this game, but their founder caught some flack due to his backstory involving crypto, I believe. I'm unaware of this, and it actually caused the game to be boycotted, and less players are playing it right after launch, which is kind of scary. And I only found out this backstory on a claim that the devs made in their Discord server, but it didn't help much in terms of damage recovery. In the end, since there's not enough players to sustain the game economy, what game economy? The game ecosystem, the devs couldn't hold this game together and didn't outsource the multiplayer aspect in terms of community hosting or open sourcing the code. And they decided to convert this whole game into an offline single player game, since they think there are security concerns of open sourcing this multiplayer hosting as they claim. I think it's bullshit, because I paid this game to play multiplayer with randos on the internet, and it became a offline single player game, so I feel betrayed. And this game really left a bad taste for the people who bought it, me included. To follow that up, we have Needy Streamer Overload, Typing of the Net. So it is just a simple typing game spin-off from the Needy Streamer Overload game, and it has a typer game and a mysterious game hidden inside it. So even so, this is a relatively short game which you can complete within 2 hours, and which is only worth buying when on discount. So if you see the price tag, it's too high, yeah, you're probably right, don't buy it. And after going through this Steam recap, I realized Delta Force isn't in this list, so allow me to elaborate on this game as well. Delta Force has a Warzone mode and extraction mode, and I've spent weeks of midnight gaming to a total of 60 plus hours into the extraction mode. In the end, I thought playing extraction is not too good for me being stressed out all the time, so I decided to opt towards a more direct brute force Warzone mode. Side tip, if you live in Asia, it is recommended that you play on the Chinese server of Delta Force, because in extraction mode, there is a higher player count that brings more liquidity to the auction house. That means goods on the auction house can be auctioned off quicker, and bidding for goods will be cheaper compared to the global servers. So that's it for my 2025 Steam recap. Throughout this year, I think I played about almost 20 games, and that is still quite a distance from me completing 100 games to review. So I will think about how to tackle this journey for 2026. Stay tuned for that. But for now, I would like to thank you for listening to me reviewing all of these games under a short time. And yeah, I hope I can tickle your fancy for some new games if you would like to try out. That is my main goal of doing this journey, which is to play games, talk about games, and share the love of games to all of you. So if you like what you're seeing, what you're hearing, like and subscribe so I can get a steering wheel in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. See you.